Hello and happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome to your weather forecast. I'm Dooley Godot, your meteorologist. I hope you guys are having a good weekend and a great week so far as we get ready to bring it to a close. Get ready for the week ahead. We got to talk about the weather forecast and how hot it's going to be to parts of the east. We got some snow that's going to be falling to parts of the Rockies and over the intercontinental west. So we're going to be seeing some snow. Yeah, snow for mid-June. Yes, that is still possible, folks. In the Rockies, in the northern Rockies across Idaho and Montana, we're going to be seeing some snow, as well as some activity down in the tropics where we could see a tropical depression form in the Gulf of Mexico near the Mexican border, or not the Mexican border, but near the Yucatan Peninsula, and we could see some of that tropical moisture affect southern Texas as well. So we're going to take a look at that. So let's jump into our first map. Oh, but before we do that, channel maintenance. These videos will show on TikTok and YouTube. And if you're watching me there, YouTube, comment, subscribe, like, do all that stuff. And you can do the same thing on TikTok. You can follow the channel as well. It's been a very rainy day here across the upper Midwest and across the great state of Minnesota. It has rained all day long, so we had a very wet day. Very kind of unusual circumstance today where it rained all day. Typically, that's not what we see in the summer months. We typically see showery weather, but where it has literally rained all day, and it's still raining at this point. I haven't heard any thunder, but I do anticipate this rain to turn showery and to become thunderstorms later in the evening hours. So we will hear some thunder later on tonight, so get ready for that. More showers and storms again tomorrow for the upper Midwest, and we're going to see those temperatures begin to rise as well. Monday, we anticipate a high in the Twin Cities of 92 degrees. There is an excessive heat watch already in place by the National Weather Service, as we're going to see a giant heat dome, an extended period of heat across the eastern half of the United States, particularly in the Northeast, the Great Lakes, and the upper Midwest. We're going to see very, very warm out there, and again, high humidities as well. So we have that action down into tropics, where we're going to see heavy rain down across Texas and into Mexico, as we watch for the likelihood, the increasing possibility for a tropical depression in the Yucatan Peninsula area. So on our first map, we're going to start off with talking about those tropics. I'm glad I figured out the camera situation. Here we are. We do have this region here off of Guatemala, where we have a low chance, a very small chance for development, but right here we have a moderate chance for development this week, and we can see a potential tropical depression or some type of tropical low form in that region. And here is the reason why. We have high pressure over the eastern United States, and then this low pressure down here in the Yucatan Peninsula, the Yucatan Bay down there in the southern Gulf of Mexico. And the combination of this high with this low is pulling up copious amounts of deep tropical moisture from the south toward the north. So we're going to see that heavy rain moving into Texas. So we're going to see a lot of flooding over New Orleans and Houston. A lot of flooding could be possible, and over eastern Mexico as well. So a lot of flooding around the Rio Grande River Valley area. So get ready for that. So Del Rio, Brownsville, Texas, Corpus Christi, as well as Galveston. So a lot of heavy rain is going to be expected this week as this scenario develops, and we're going to keep an eye on it and let you know how things develop, or how we expect it to develop. And here's what we're going to see as we go through time. Now, we saw all of that rain over the state of Florida over the last week or so. Now, that rain is going to begin to start dying down as most of the action shifts to the west. So we're going to see that action shifting to the western Gulf of Mexico. We had that system over the state of Florida. That's going to head off toward the northeast. But we have a lot of rainfall along the Mexican coastal areas. As you can see here, heavy rainfall along the eastern sides of the Monterey, the state of Monterey, and eastern Mexico here, and the Yucatan. We're going to be seeing lots of heavy rain as we go forth through this week, as that possible tropical development takes place over the southern Gulf of Mexico. And then over the continental United States, we're going to be seeing that very hot weather. So a pretty big departure from average, as we're going to see those temperatures in the 90s for much of this week across the northeastern half of the United States. So Boston, D.C., Pittsburgh, Chicago, even in the Twin Cities. Now, mind you, I do have to comment that this is not right here. This should say for Monday, we are going to see a high of 92 here in the Twin Cities, and those temperatures in the upper 80s to low 90s for Tuesday and into Wednesday. It's going to be a very warm week this week across the northern tier of the country, but we're going to see those 90s down to the D.C. area, Louisville, as well as over into St. Louis. So very warm weather over the northeastern quadrant of the United States this week. Very hot weather, hot and humid. It's not going to be pleasant. Very, very hot. A lot of heat warnings, excessive heat, and we're going to be seeing those temperatures pretty warm in the overnight and early mornings as well. Overnight lows are mostly going to be in the low to middle 70s. Some areas will see overnight lows approach the upper 70s. So a very sticky night out there. So it's going to be not the best sleeping weather. So ACs are going to be running full blast this week. Here is our heat exposure, our potential for heat risk. So we do have the potential for excessive heat across Michigan down through the Ohio Valley. So we're going to be seeing that possibility for excessive heat this week. And here is our setup. So that high pressure is going to make its way toward the northeast, but we're going to have that low pressure down there in Mexico, low pressure across the upper Midwest. So we're going to see showers and thunderstorms through the Dakotas, down through Minnesota, maybe through Wisconsin, Iowa, and Nebraska, and through parts of Montana and Wyoming. But we're also going to see snow through Montana, Idaho as well, eastern Washington, maybe parts of eastern Oregon in the mountains. So we're going to be seeing some snow, and some areas can pick up as much as a foot of snow in the mountains of Montana. So for some of you folks, winter is not over. So we're going to be seeing that long duration heat wave likely this week, in this upcoming week. So a week long possibility for that heat wave, and we're going to see record challenging ridge takes hold over the northeast. So it's going to be very warm over the northeastern U.S. So all the big cities, it's going to be sweltering out there. So please be careful and take care of yourself and take care of one another. Look in on your elderly children. Don't leave pets in the car. Don't leave your children in the car, because it's going to be very, very hot. And here is the forecast for this month of this summer, where we're looking at things to be very warm over the southwestern. We're starting to see La Nina take over again, so we're going to see that pattern where it's very warm in the west, especially the southwest. We are going to see conditions be above average, but we're going to see temperatures near average here across the northern plains. So Minnesota and the Dakotas down through Nebraska, the temperatures are going to be about average. But here across the western half of the United States, that's going to make it very hot and above average. And with that high amplitude ridge over the west, weak storm systems will travel over the top of the ridge and drop down across the northern plains. So we're going to see an uptick in the amount of rainfall and thunderstorms across the northern plains and the upper Midwest. So Minnesota, Wisconsin, and the Dakotas, we're going to see a lot of thunderstorms as we head into June, through June and July especially, and then into the month of August as well. We're going to see those thunderstorms because of those weak weather systems traversing the top of that ridge out west. Here is what we're looking at this week as we have this deep trough over the western U.S. So we're going to see things cooler across the Pacific Northwest. So Seattle, Portland, into Northern California. But look at the wet weather that we're going to see across the central part of the country, from Minnesota down through Iowa, Missouri, Oklahoma, eastern Kansas, Nebraska, the Dakotas, and that's going to also extend into Montana, and we're going to see that snow and stuff out over into Montana and Idaho. I don't know if the camera's picking it up, if the microphone is picking it up, but you can hear the rain outside and the wind that's blowing. Here is our winter weather advisories in place, so we can have snow accumulations in excess of a foot. We have a winter storm watch in effect across the parts of western Montana. So Great Falls, Butte, in those areas we're going to see very heavy snow, and into Yellowstone as well. So some wintry weather conditions continue. They were just in the 70s and 80s a few days ago. Now we're talking about snow. So that's how much the conditions are in flux in this country. Again, here's a look at some of that snowfall forecast across the Intermountain West and the Northern Rockies. And we're going to see our forecast. Showers and thunderstorms. Our severe weather is going to be here across the northern plains today. So we're looking at severe thunderstorms across parts of Minnesota, western Iowa, and through Nebraska and the Dakotas. We're going to see showers and thunderstorms. Heavy rain today we're seeing across Minnesota. That's going to lead to some aerial flooding and flash flooding. Isolated showers and thunderstorms down across the southeast, the Gulf Coast, and the southeastern U.S. and the state of Florida. We will see hit and miss isolated showers and thunderstorms, as well as through parts of western Texas, eastern New Mexico, as that's kind of the beginnings of some pre-monsoon moisture that's going to try to slide out toward the southwest. So isolated thunderstorms is going to be possible through parts of West Texas and eastern New Mexico. And for your Sunday tomorrow, more heavy rain and severe weather across the upper Midwest. Wisconsin, Minnesota, North and South Dakota, we're going to be seeing severe thunderstorms that could produce tornadoes. We can have damaging winds in excess of 75 miles per hour, large hail, heavy rain that can lead to some flooding as well. So again, showers and thunderstorms across the upper Midwest, isolated showers and storms down along the Gulf Coast and the southeastern U.S., just isolated showers and storms. And then we have the potential here for fire weather. So we have a dry weather conditions across the Arizona up above the Mogollon Rim. We're going to be seeing very dry weather and windy conditions that could lead to fire weather. And then we have our wintry precipitation in the northern Rockies and parts of the Northwest up there in Montana and Idaho and eastern Washington. We have our wintry precipitation in that region. And then for your Monday, we are going to see that severe weather continue across the upper Midwest through Minnesota, North and South Dakota. Heavy rain, flash flooding, some tornadoes possible, large hail, damaging winds, and that down here across the Gulf of Mexico will be the effects of that tropical system in the Yucatan Peninsula area, and that's going to be pumping that tropical moisture to the Gulf of Mexico, to the U.S. and to the U.S. mainland here over Louisiana and Mississippi, in Alabama, West Florida, and eastern Texas. We're going to see that moisture increase from that heavy rainfall and the potential for flooding as we have some tropical moisture beginning to affect the area. And that is your weather forecast for your Saturday, and get you through the remainder of the weekend and take a look at the beginning of next week. Thank you for watching me today, everybody. Leave your likes, your comments, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys all tomorrow afternoon with another video. Bye-bye.